Luckily, we were in the theater, so it would have been tough to try to stifle the laughter in this film.
Yeah, when it started, I was just like, please God, don't let anyone else come in the theater. And thankfully, no one showed up.
Yeah.
It's the summer, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So theaters should be completely empty. You're doing a great job, Hollywood.
Oh, boy,
So the film opens with Morgan Freeman reading ridiculous narration.
Yeah. Well, first of all, if you had Morgan Freeman doing your voiceover, that's like something they would do in a parody movie.
Right.
Like immediately, you're like, Morgan Freeman?
Like an old notebook, like Men in Tights.
Yeah, yeah.
Once upon a time. So it opens like that, and there's maps, and they're talking about fantasy land or something, and they're like,
It's long and convoluted.
it's long and come, and it just immediately lost me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. When Conan hits him on the sword, and it just starts, and it takes itself kind of seriously throughout the first part.
Yeah.
Until you see Ron Perlman in a gigantic beard. And he reminded me of Will Forte as the falconer in Saturday Night Live. It came off as a comedy period.
Yes.
Like I've been shipwrecked on this island my whole life, comedy period. And so I started laughing immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a ridiculously stupid battle that opens the film. Conan's mother is going into labor on the battlefield.
For whatever reason, they let the pregnant woman, 9-month pregnant woman, go on the battlefield to fight.
She's on the battlefield. She's like, I'm having a baby! So Ron Perlman comes out and he performs a C-section operation with a knife in under 2 seconds without even looking.
Yeah. He's looking in her eyes the entire time, and he just goes,
Takes the knife, and then he pulls the rubber baby out the same shot. And this theater is just filled with laughter by the three of them. The rubber baby's going like this with his arm, and then he lifts it up in the air, and reminds you we're in the middle of battle.
yeah,
So yeah, he takes the time to hold the baby up in the air and go, this is Conan!
You could probably do a drinking game with this movie for how many times people put things up in the air and yell.
Yeah.
Ah! Behold! In despair! For you must!
You failed to mention the explosion.
Yes, the explosion in the prologue.
Yeah.
How could I forget? They show some sort of city or castle.
It's like a miniature.
And they show it explode. But it's from such a distance, and the scale and the speed of the explosion is completely wrong. It's like, yeah, it looks like if you took a can of WD-40 and a lighter and and then they composite it on top of there. And it's like, no.
That was the first big laugh of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, and it looked like a cheap effect you would make, like a first-year college student would make an After Effects.
Yeah.
They had some plug-in explosion that they had there. And it was like, oh, that wasn't a castle exploding.
Yeah.
Castle exploding was fire was slower. Things in miniature need to be shot in slow-mo.
Yes.
Because big things blow up and fall slower than little things.
Yeah.
That's how gravity works on the planet Earth. But, yeah, it's laughing.
Yeah.
And the film isn't entirely like hysterical all the way through.
No, well, that's the great thing is that there's stretches of the movie where it's like, oh, okay, it's getting tedious, it's getting boring, but then something amazing happens that makes you laugh uncontrollably for extended periods of time, and that sustains you for another, 5-10 minutes.
But there was a really funny scene where Conan put the guy on a catapult.
We can talk about the fact that this movie, a lot of the scenes was edited to perfect comedic timing.
Yeah.
Which wasn't the intention, but they accidentally edited this movie as a comedy, where it's like the beats are perfect for a comedy beat, and they elicit.
Yeah. One example is there's a guy that Conan cuts his nose off.
Yes.
In the beginning part of the film, he goes, "Ow, my nose!"
He immediately, Conan cuts his nose off, you see the nose fly out of his face, and the guy immediately goes, "Ah, my nose!" And it's like, you don't say that unless you're in a comedy.
Well, when they reintroduced that character again, many years later, when Conan finds him, he follows him to some place. He knows that he can lead him to the bad guy.
Yeah.
So he follows him to the place, and he goes, "Where's, missing nose guy," whatever his name was. And they're like, "Oh, he's indisposed at the moment. Then hard cut to him like cranking this thing on some poor guy's hand.
Torturing the guy, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like this flat angle, and he's like, ah! And then cut back. We started laughing. I don't know if it was intentional, but they wanted it.
I don't know. Did they want it to be funny when Conan goes in and rips the guy's nose cover off and sticks his finger in the nose hole to torture him? Was that supposed to be like, oh, he's doing that, he's a barbarian?
Yeah.
No, it's funny when you stick your finger in a guy's open nose hole.
Yeah. But something noteworthy about Conan movie and movies in general nowadays is that no one says, wow, this movie has great special effects.
No.
They would say that in the 80s and the 90s, but no one says that anymore, because now it's just like a given that movies, even of this caliber, and this movie had a fairly big budget, actually. I think it was like $70 million.
It was, yeah, well, I was shocked when I found out how much this movie cost.
You should reword that, saying I was shocked at finding out how much they spent on this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Good special effects are kind of a given now. It's a good thing, though, in a way, because if movies like this keep tanking, they'll have to actually make story good.
Oh.
And they'll have to actually make good movies. You know, because people aren't wowed by special effects. It's like when I saw Avatar. That was like a wow special effects kind of movie. All it is effects, the whole thing.
Right.
And that's
super simplistic.
Sort of super simplistic, but then at the end, you know, the movie ended and some guy behind me goes, what a bunch of crap.
It's disregarding everything.
Yeah, like all that hard work, all that time put into it, all those amazing visuals that would have been just like mind-blowing 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They just go, whatever, what's next?
Yeah.
So it's like, special effects, especially 3D, don't care.
Yeah.
Not 3D or special effects anymore. And during Conan, I was thinking back to the time in the mid to late 90s when there was sort of a small revival of these types of movies, the Conan warrior kind of movies, around the time of Xena, the warrior princess.
Yeah.
But there was a movie called Kull the Conqueror, which starred Kevin Sorbo.
He was a warrior slave until fate made him king.
Slaves of Alicia are now free.
Kevin Sorbo worked in a gas station, by the way. You should get him on the show and have him on Kull the Conqueror.
No, sure.
Yeah. But anyway, Kevin Sorbo started this film, and that movie and movies like the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, man, Marlon Wayans. The amazing Dungeons and Dragons movie.
But where those movies, they didn't have computer graphics that they do now. They didn't have the complete merging of the green screens and visuals to where everything's really just like seamless and
Yeah.
It was just really lots of practical stuff.
Yeah.
The crafted sets and stuff like that. And I would have hated to see what the Lord of the Rings films looked like if they were made in 1990.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, matte paintings are cool and all, but there's a limit.
Yeah.
And like George Lucas said, special effects are a tool,
Yeah.
a means of telling the story.
As long as we're talking about special effects, I wanted to bring up a sequence that was in Fright Night that, one, was terrible, and two, was a shameless ripoff of the sequence in Children of Men, where there's a camera in the middle of a car, and it's doing like 360 camera shots, and there's all sorts of exciting action happening outside the car. It's the exact same structure, exact same shot, but in Fright Night, it was all completely green screen backlit. All the effects, them driving, it was all completely done on the green screen, and it's obviously done on the green screen. It looked pretty bad, as opposed to Children of Men, where it was all done real camera in a car on a real street, doing the 360. They had a whole big rig.
Yeah.
And there's a couple little digital, effects to enhance certain things, but for the most part, it's real, and it feels real. It adds to the intensity of the scene.
Well, it wasn't that the CGI in Fright Night was bad and noticeable, but that's a different perspective, because Fright Night needed more practical effects. Fright Night needed to have real blood and real smoke from a smoke machine.
Monster makeup.
Monster makeup.